Okay guys, got another video for you today. Today I'm going to show you what the Uniform Commercial Code is for. Alright, so we're going to go to Uniform Commercial Code. Shocker, right? Alright, this is UCC 1-103, okay? Construction of Uniform Commercial Code to promote its purposes and policies. Okay, applicability of supplemental principle of laws. Now, this is kind of important. It's good to understand this, right? Because the Uniform Commercial Code must be liberally construed and applied to promote its underlying purposes and policies, which are to one, simplify, clarify, and modernize the law governing commercial transactions. Everyone gets involved in commercial transactions at some point, right? Two is to permit the continued expansion of commercial practices through custom, usage, and agreement of the parties, and to make uniform the law among the various jurisdictions. This is key point here. The laws in the Uniform Commercial Code are uniform among the various jurisdictions. So that means whatever state you're in, whatever country you're in, if they have the UCC, it's exactly the same. It's uniform. That's why they call it uniform. Okay, so it's the same. You go to Japan, it's the same. You go to Maryland, it's the same. You go to France, it's the same. Okay, it's the same in every single place where the Uniform Commercial Code exists. Fiji Islands, it's there. I looked it up. It's in the Fiji Islands too. All right, so unless displaced by the particular provisions of the Uniform Commercial Code, the principles of law and equity, including the law merchant and the law relative to capacity to contract, principal and agent, estoppel, fraud, misrepresentation, duress, coercion, mistake, bankruptcy, and other validating or invalidating cause supplement to its provisions. Okay, so if it's displaced by a particular provision of the UCC, the laws in here, all right, relate to contract, principal and agent. Okay, they relate to all these things: estoppel, fraud, misrepresentation. So all this stuff has a capacity inside the Uniform Commercial Code. So these are all things that you can use with the Uniform Commercial Code. Contract. Let's see what contract means. Okay, a contract, as distinguished from an agreement, means the total legal obligation that results from the parties' agreement as determined by the UCC as supplemented by any other applicable law. Now we could go to agreement, right? Let's go look at that. As distinguished from contract, back and forth. They're a little different, means the bargain of the parties in fact. Okay, so they're going to come to an agreement, and then once they come to an agreement, as found in their language or inferred from other circumstances. Now this is important. As found in their language. So that's like you can redefine words in your contract, in your agreement, okay, or inferred from other circumstances. You can say, well, just like what we did in this agreement, we're going to do the same thing here. So it's inferred from other circumstances, including course of performance, course of dealing, or usage of trade as provided, okay, in that other section. So that's pretty interesting. You actually have some power here you may not have been aware of. And now we're going to go back to contract. And it's the total legal obligation that results in the parties' agreement. Parties make an agreement. Okay, then they create a contract as determined by the Uniform Commercial Code as supplemented by any other applicable laws. Now this is kind of funny because just from looking at these two things, agreement and contract, you're starting to realize, hey, wait a second, when I go get a car loan, there's no agreement. They just put a contract in front of me and say, sign it. Well, what could you have done in the agreement part to change the contract? Notice that they have contracts all ready to go. Could they change the contract? Of course they can, but you have to change the agreement. So you do a different agreement, you can get a different contract. But these guys like to skip the whole agreement part because they don't want to do any, they'll do like money agreements. Well, maybe you can do this amount down, and do this, and we'll make the monthly payments this much. But they're not going to budge too far away from what they want. Okay? But you have to realize something. They want your business more than you want that car. And you got to realize that. Because if nobody bought cars, they'd be out of business. So you have to understand that as the consumer, you have a lot more power than you realize, because once these guys get into contract with you, the contracts that they have, if you don't read it, okay, that means you're going into an agreement that you don't know anything about. Okay, they've already established an agreement beforehand. So now let's go back. All right, so now see the law merchant, the law relative to capacity to contract, principal and agent rules, estoppel, fraud, misrepresentation, duress, coercion. Now, who's ever felt this? They felt under duress, they felt coercion, okay? Had a bankruptcy issue because of consumer or through some kind of consumer transaction or commercial transaction, right? Or other validating or invalidating clause supplement to its provisions. So this is an important thing to understand. The whole point of the Uniform Commercial Code, right, is to simplify. I mean, is the UCC simple? Not really. It's very confusing. Clarify. Well, once you start to wrap your head around how the language works in here, it becomes pretty simple, and you can clarify how things are supposed to work. Do the companies honor them? No. They tell you that it won't even apply half the time. You go, oh, we don't follow those here. We don't follow those. This is the look. It's the law governing commercial transactions. They don't have a choice. They have to follow this. Okay? Remember, they're modernizing the law, right? This comes from the law merchant. Okay? The Babylonian law merchants. That's where it comes from. So this is really, really old. Okay, but they modernized it here. They're telling you that it's modernized. All right, so just wanted to share that with you, show you what the purpose of the Uniform Commercial Code is, and just give you an idea about what this is, what we're going to use this for, what we can use this for, and how we can use this in our commercial transactions. All right, so that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.